It was late November when Sarah decided to take a solo trip to the White Mountains of New Hampshire. She had been craving solitude after months of work stress and thought a weekend in a remote cabin would be perfect. She found a listing online, a small wooden cabin tucked deep in the woods, miles from the nearest town. The photos were charming: rustic furniture, a stone fireplace, and a view of the snow-dusted pines. The description mentioned that it was off-grid and perfect for those seeking peace. The drive was long and winding. GPS struggled to keep a signal, and the last few miles were on narrow dirt roads, flanked by thick woods. By the time she arrived, it was nearly dark. The cabin sat in a clearing, snow crunching under her tires. Smoke curled faintly from the chimney, though no one had answered her calls to the owner. Stepping inside, she found the cabin empty yet warm, as if someone had just left. The fireplace had cold ashes, a kettle rested on the stove, and a single rocking chair sat by the window. It felt lived in, but not recently. Sarah shrugged and set down her bag, determined to enjoy the weekend. Night fell quickly. She lit the fireplace and made herself tea. The wind howling outside, rattling the windows. Around 11 p.m., she thought she heard a faint tapping. At first, she ignored it, assuming it was the old wood expanding in the cold. But the tapping became more distinct, rhythmic, like someone lightly drumming their fingers on the wall. Sarah's heart quickened. Probably just an animal, she muttered, though the sound seemed too deliberate. She checked the doors and windows. Everything was locked. Then she heard it, a soft whisper from upstairs. "Go, now." Her rational mind screamed that it had to be the wind, or maybe she was imagining things. She climbed the narrow staircase, flashlight in hand. The bedroom was empty. Just an old bed, a dresser, and a single window overlooking the forest. Nothing seemed out of place, except the floorboards. Near the corner, deep scratches marred the wood, as though someone or something had clawed at it. Sarah backed away, uneasy, and returned downstairs. She tried to distract herself with a movie on her laptop, but the house didn't feel empty anymore. The wind outside sounded almost like whispering, and the rocking chair had begun to move, ever so slightly, back and forth. By midnight, the noises escalated. Heavy footsteps paced above her, though the room upstairs remained empty. Then came the basement. Sarah hadn't noticed the basement door before. It was a narrow, old trap door beneath the rug. Against her better judgment, she lifted it. A faint draft, cold and musty, wafted up. With flashlight in hand, she descended. The basement smelled of damp wood and decay. In the corner, half hidden in shadows, was a stack of crates covered with dust. But something else caught her eye. A faint outline of a figure, standing perfectly still, watching her. She froze. The flashlight flickered and the figure vanished. Her heart pounded in her chest. Suddenly, the whispering returned, louder this time. "Leave, forever." Sarah ran upstairs, fumbling with the locks, but the front door wouldn't open. She could see footprints in the snow outside, fresh, human, but no one was there. The window fogged over, as if someone had pressed their hands against it from the inside. Panic set in. She remembered the emergency phone signal her friend had given her before she left. Her hands shaking, she tried to call, but there was no signal. Every light flickered and died. And then, the rocking chair slammed to the floor on its own. The cabin was silent, except for her own ragged breathing. At 3 a.m., she heard it clearly for the first time. A low, guttural voice emanating from the walls, almost behind her. "Stay with me." Frozen, Sarah could only watch as shadows in the corners shifted unnaturally. She closed her eyes, prayed silently, and when she opened them, the basement trap door was wide open. A cold breeze swept through the cabin, and the whispers ceased. By dawn, Sarah found the door unlocked. She didn't stop to grab her things. She ran to her car, engine roaring, and never looked back. When she returned a week later with the owner, the cabin was empty. No footprints, no rocking chair toppled, no signs that anyone or anything had been there. Just the scratches on the floorboards, now deeper than before, as if something had been clawing its way out. Sarah never returned to the White Mountains, and whenever she sees an off-grid cabin listing online, she shudders, remembering the night she spent in the empty cabin that wasn't truly empty.